Fall has got to be my favorite time of year. It is such a beautiful time when the leaves are changing colors, the weather's finally cooling down, and it's just a great time to get outdoors and just enjoy yourself and experience the outdoors, especially when you got a place to yourself. I haven't seen anybody on this trail, so this is going to be a great one, which is kind of surprising. We are in the middle of elk hunting season, so I anticipate at some point I will see somebody along the way, but for what it is, I haven't seen anybody, so I don't know if that's just a small indication that they're not finding any elk up high, or the weather had a factor and, you know, kind of postponed things for folks. Either way, I'm up here just enjoying myself. Cannot complain. This beautiful, beautiful snowfall is just a welcome to see. Yeah, one of my favorite things about fall is, you know, the leaves changing colors. I love that color contrast between a green forest and the leaves that are actually changing color. And so up here, you know, what really sticks out and shines is the aspen trees. They have a golden yellow color, and when you're sitting in an evergreen forest just like this, you know, it really sticks out, and I love that contrast. It's beautiful. Wow, I really found a great camp spot. It is undeveloped, so I'll have to collect some rocks, set up a campfire ring, I'll get some firewood, set up my tent, and just bring in this awesome afternoon. There is a meadow over here, so I hope at some point I get a chance to see some wildlife come through camp during my stay. You know, I was gonna do a different type of camping this evening, which is to go up on a ridge or close to one to have an overlook looking at some mountain peaks and some canyons, but there's just a consistent 20-25 mile an hour wind, and so I didn't want the wind to be a nuisance, and so I went with my second option, which is to go into the trees. And the great thing about this particular spot is the snow has melted off. The wind has actually took that snow and threw it somewhere else, so for the most part it's basically just damp. There's no snow to move out of the way. Over there where I was at, there was about 6 inches of snow, and so I would have been setting up on about 6 inches of snow. And here, wow, good stuff up here, man. But yeah, let's get to camp chores and just break in this awesome evening. Alright guys, I'm out collecting some firewood. The variety of firewood that I have access to at this elevation is basically spruce. And so on the bottom of almost every other spruce, you have access to grab some moss. And so collect some of that moss and it becomes a great fire starter. Alright, I think collecting firewood is done. Man, that temperature's starting to drop pretty decent up here. My core temperature's up just because I've been moving around collecting firewood and stuff like that. But yeah, as soon as I come to a rest, it's on, man. I'm gonna want to get a fire going just to bring up my core temperature. Feels so good to be in a chair, sitting down by this campfire. I changed out of my clothes that I was wearing today just because, you tend to sweat, so I didn't want any wet clothes on me, especially when it's this cold. I checked the temperature, it's 30 degrees, which isn't terrible, but there's still a 25-mile-an-hour wind, and so what is that with wind chill? It's making it 5 degrees out here. I mean, it is cold. Wouldn't be so bad if that wind wasn't here with me, but yeah, I'm getting ready to put on my Downs jacket because man, that wind is brutal. Kind of in a little protected area right here in the tree line, but that wind is still, I guess, doing like a funnel effect just above me, so it's dropping down on me still. But if I was exposed like I was wanting to do on a ridge, oh man, that would have been a no-go. That would have been a terrible, terrible night, I'll tell you that. I would have been wind battered, and ridge camping in the mountains, those are your windy spots. And so I imagine that on that ridge the wind's probably 40 or 50 miles an hour, so you do the math there. 30 degrees with the 40-50 mile an hour wind chill, that's probably below zero. Man, feels good to be by this campfire, I tell you that. Right now, I'm at 11,450 feet. And so what I want to let you guys know is if you ever go camping in high altitude, keep it in mind that your fire is going to behave a little different, especially if you're used to having campfires down at sea level, or maybe not at sea level, but somewhere's in between that and 8,000 feet, 10,000 feet, whatever it is. Keep it in mind that fire does behave a little bit different, and the reason being is because there's a lack of oxygen. I feel it, campfire feels it, and you'll especially feel it when you start moving around, doing camp chores, collecting firewood, setting your tent up. You'll just all of a sudden be hit with like, wow, man, I'm just out of breath, and it just has to do with high altitude. So yeah, guys, keep that in mind. If you do some high altitude camping, that fires behave a little different, and that's just part of high country camping. The other thing I want to talk about, is if you're coming up to higher elevations, I recommend acclimating. I live at 5,000 feet above sea level, so for me to climb up to here, I don't necessarily need to acclimate. But if you're coming from sea level, please do yourself that favor and acclimate. People are prone to getting altitude sickness, and it's good to understand that altitude sickness is real. Look up the symptoms and research them, so that way if you're up there, you know how to properly address that. And your best medicine is get down. Get down in elevation, because you become distorted, you become headache, and I don't know the other symptoms, but You know, take that stuff serious, guys. Get down out of elevation if you ever encounter being up in higher altitude and, you know, having altitude sickness. So yeah, man. Dinner is well on its way. Gonna have some good old-fashioned chili cheese dogs. Oh yeah. I'm pretty hungry, and man, tell me that don't look good. First bite up. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's excellent. I can't tell you how satisfying it is to have a hot meal on a cold evening. Wow, just spirits are lifted and it is delicious. I'm gonna finish this up and then get some things waterproofed, or I guess winterized, just so that way if it gets hard enough of a freeze that I'll still have water. So yeah, gonna eat first and take care of that next. Good morning, guys. Man, what a rough night of sleep, I'm not gonna lie. It was 35-40 mile an hour wind gusts throughout the night, and so my tent just kept getting tossed, and yeah, I didn't sleep too good because of that. Got up this morning, and the first thing I wanted to do is put on a campfire, which I did, and man, that's elevating my spirits over the night that I had. It was a rough one. Yeah, I checked the local area weather station for this particular mountain range right here and got down to 12 degrees, and still with that steady wind chill, that's got to be below zero. It's the wind that's really, you know, taking a toll on what's going on out here. Otherwise, you know, it would be a different experience. I'm having a great experience, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that wind just, you know, it just makes it colder. It, you know, tosses things around, and so yeah, it's a good morning though, man. Heck yeah. Gonna make some coffee and yeah, just relax. Yeah, just look at that. That's solid. That's a solid freaking gallon of ice right there. It's a little iced up in there, but that's why you put some water to boil in the morning. Still got plenty of drinking water, and that's what's important. Alright guys, coffee's all ready, and I'm a little bit bummed out. I started the ATV not long ago to let it warm up for the day, and the check engine light came on. Now, no idea what that's all about. I do a little walk over the ATV before I come out on these trips, but you know, you can't prevent everything from happening. So again, I was out here for a 2-night trip. I'm gonna call it. I think that's in my best interest. I'm not gonna run any more trails, you know, have the ATV break down, and then it's a foot walk to go and find help. You know, I haven't seen anybody since I've come up here, and it's at least probably 15-mile walk before I could even probably get some help, and no thank you, I'm not about to do that. So yeah guys, I'm just gonna enjoy this coffee, eat some oatmeal, and break down camp and head in. What a shame, man. Such a gorgeous landscape up here. I was really looking forward to doing a two-nighter, man. Oh well, stuff happens. That's just the way life goes, right? But hey, this coffee's gonna do it up because it's still cold. Oh man. Campfire's out. Picked up camp. That's where I had my tent. Left no trace. Nobody's gonna even know that I was here for the night. Yeah, check engine light is not on, but not gonna play with that, man. So let's get on out of here. What a great camp spot to have, seriously. It is very remote through here. Went off trail about 300 feet and found this awesome little spot. So let's see if I could even find my way out. I could kind of see where my tracks came through. Here's some snow. If I see some wheeler tracks, and I do, yeah, this is the way I came. Awesome. Here we are, we're on 645Q, and that's pretty much the main track that comes up here. Then you got a bunch of different branches that take you off into different sections of the forest up here, and that was my plan, is to go and check out a different region of this forest up here, because it's so huge and there's so many different trails to come out here and explore. Just means I'll have to come out again. Hopefully I could do that one more time before the snow becomes impassable up here. You know, these higher elevations here in New Mexico, it'll come to a point where this road won't be passable and the Forest Service will close gates to this area just because they don't do no maintaining, and I don't blame them. You know, how are you going to maintain, you know, 15 feet of snow? You can't. I mean, you could try, but up here it's so windy that even if you cut a track out, you know, that wind is going to create some snow bluffs up here, and it'll just be an ongoing thing. So yeah, they'll close the Forest Service, and I don't blame them, man. Seriously, I don't. It's probably for the better too, because yeah, people come up here, get themselves in trouble, and end up getting killed or something like that, just because they don't have that knowledge. But yeah, I was so close to a peak up here, I figure I'm gonna go run and check it out. I could see it right there, and then go ahead and head home. Oh my goodness, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful backdrop? Wow, that is gorgeous up there. Gotta love the Sangre de Cristo mountain range, man. All up there is above treetops, so it's just exposed. Kind of like this is right here. It's kind of almost above treetop. But for this little run, I'm not going to close the gate, because I will be turning around real quick. So I'm just going to go up in here, have a look, come back, and then I'll lock that gate. Oh crap. That would have been a fun little ramp. coming no more. It is freaking cold. Check this out. This is a testament to how windy it is. Look at that. That's freaking windy, guys. I'm out, man. I can't take this no more. Woo! Wow, that wind is brutal. Alright guys, I got off that summit quick. Got off, I closed the gate. I dropped at least over 1,000 feet, so the conditions are improving, but yeah, I couldn't take that summit of 11,700 feet no more. That was wild, man. That's just your typical summits. You know, in mountains they get cold and it's just windy, and you gotta factor temperature and wind chill and all the above, man. Yeah, I'm already starting to feel better. I gotta be probably about the 9,800 foot mark, so I'm close to 2,000 feet lower. Oh my goodness, man. My core is still cold. That was wild. You know, I was up there in, what do you call it, July, and even in July, you know, there was snow from probably a snowstorm that came through overnight. If it wasn't snow, it was hail. But the temperatures nonetheless for July, it was still in the 30s with 20-mile-an-hour wind chill. So even in July it was cold up here, and here we are 3 months ahead. It's October and it's winter, man. You cannot deny that it's winter in the high country already. Whoo! Man, what a wild one up there, 11,700 feet. As always, guys, it's been a pleasure to have you guys a part of the channel. I really want to express a huge thank you, guys. You know, I appreciate your support. ManzanoMan Adventure wouldn't be without you guys, and so seriously, I'm very thankful for each of you who are subscribed, who interact with the channel. It keeps growing, and I'm thankful for that. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the Mountain West out here in New Mexico, and that you guys are picking up different little tidbits of knowledge about mountain camping, because it's a great place to come and experience, man. It really is. But I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and until the next one, guys, I'm out. You guys take care of yourselves.